when we combine all our assets to be able to get that coverage and price together, I think that's quite magical, because the insurance doesn't become a game of price. It becomes a game of coverage, product quality, and suitability for the uninsured.
All right, today we are here with our own Chief Data Scientist at Bold Penguin, Lakshan DeSilva. Welcome, Lakshan.
Hey, great to be here. Thanks, Amber.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Yeah, very exciting announcement recently with the launch of our data products, and of course, your announcement. So congrats on all the growth there. I'm excited to chat data today.
Excellent. It's my favorite topic. I've been doing this for a long time, so it's great to be here as well.
Well, let's jump right into hot topic, which is data integrity. So the topic of the day is data integrity. We're going to jump into a comment that you made in Daily FinTech. So in an interview with Daily FinTech a while back, you said, assume all data are wrong unless you prove it otherwise. How does the availability of systems to keep data honest expand opportunities for data sharing to bring the speed of commercial lines insurance tech transformation up to that of personal lines?
Well, I think the context of that comment was, I think it's easier for a data person to live assuming it's wrong. Otherwise, you just go crazy trying to work out what's exactly correct. And I think the biggest difference is that you need some sort of mechanism to prove what's correct. So especially in insurance, whether it's personal or commercial lines, and each one is nuanced in that personal lines, you need consent. Commercial lines, you can do this at scale without consent. You need multiple different mechanisms to work out what's correct. And insurance is not about just getting the right answer, it's about showing the working. So that audit trail on how you proved the integrity, the veracity, the accuracy is as important as the final answer. So as new data sources come online, you're kind of taking some of the very traditional things. Bold Penguin, we're really lucky in that we get to talk directly to agents, directly to even insureds in some examples. So we have multiple ways of verifying it, along with third-party data, our own data, and what's available through the public on the web as well. So between those, you'll be able to prove which one is correct. And you'll find that depending on the type of data or the specific data element, the contribution of that is different. Traditional is sometimes better. Sometimes the newer age data sources are better. The toughest bit is it changes. So what was actually what it was like in 2017, 2018 to 2021 is vastly different, which means next year is going to be different as well. So only truth in data is 90% of the data is created in the last 18 months, and that'll be true for a long time.
Yeah, the creation of data. Whenever I see those metrics about the amount of data that is currently being created and has been created, in the last 12 months, et cetera, it's always astounding. Right. Well, let's shift over to our next segment, which is industry chatter, where we get your perspective on a quote from someone else in the industry. So today's quote actually comes to us from Vala Afshar, host of Disrupt TV and Chief Digital Evangelist for Salesforce. And the quote is, "A single source of truth becomes key to the data-driven business. As digitization continues to drive an increasing amount of data, organizations will seek a single source of truth where consumers can get the right data in the right context at the right time." So as an insurance person, using a wider availability of data to ensure best outcome output seems a prudent approach, but is hoping for this single source a form of overreach?
I think the good news is there is no source of truth. There's a element of truth at a point in time, and it changes. You can get, instead of having large pools, you can get down to kind of a pool of one, so to speak. I think that's very attainable to be able to, especially in small commercial. I think what's still very tough is that some of those question sets were were designed for a human to be able to fill that in. They weren't designed, you know, if you were designing a product ground up to suit the data, you would not design the question sets the same way. So those still remain pretty tough, and I think there's still a way to go on that. But I think in terms of the very basic information, it's very attainable now. It's actually been achieved.
It's a great point. In some contexts, we're retrofitting some of the new innovative data sets and processes onto older models that weren't designed, you know, with the new innovations in mind. And that, you know, that's not just data, that's just general transformations, but I can certainly see how that could present a challenge. Very cool. All right, let's close it out with our last segment, which is questions from the crowd, where we source questions from our BPTV audience in advance. And today's question is about trusting the process. So, question for Lakshan today is, some of the products your team is developing aimed at underwriting by streamlining or eliminating many rote tasks could contribute to the umbrella of process improvement. In your estimation, where does insurance fall on the scale of data-driven process improvement adoption? Are there generally accepted milestones to this journey? And is there a timetable other than right now?
In terms of now where people start is that everyone tests your existing coverage and accuracy for what would, you know, is currently known as pre-fill. That's kind of the obvious place to start. Now, the tough thing there is there's no ground truth. So neither a carrier, an agent, or anyone actually has ground truth. So when you actually go to the very deep levels, the ground truth is wrong, 50% plus. So sometimes even if the machine was right, it won't meet the accuracy of goals of whoever's testing it, because your ground truth is wrong. If you had to build a ML rater and provide the data for ML rater, I think we're still a while away from doing that across all lines. But in small segments, definitely happening. And you know, this year there's been some widespread adoption of new eligibility models, new appetite, and new prioritization models based on third-party data that we've seen already in the industry and for standard BP.
I think there's a lot in the works right now, and some teams doing really successfully. So to add one additional curveball question, what are you most excited about for data for 2022? What's coming down the pipeline? What are you excited about?
Doing a complex submission, which no human can understand, and being able to just produce a quote is quite exciting. Like, I think some of the stuff which we've done, I don't think anyone remotely thought could be done for complex submissions. So just seeing that in action at high accuracies, quite exciting. I think the real magic happens when you basically start to provide insights which no one even knew, and you start to change the product. Start to be able to have micro-segmented products in the market. In the end, it's about the insured. So everyone else is kind of an actor in this, but if the insured is protected at the right price and the right coverage, then I think we've done our job.
We talk a lot about customer centricity, and I think that's right on point. That's how we start to really get there. I think there's a lot of potential here to make some big leaps forward to really have that customer focused process. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share your perspective on the data and the future of data. Again, Lakshan DeSilva, our own Chief Data Scientist at Bold Penguin. Thanks so much, Lakshan.
Thanks so much, Amber.